Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And I have a great show today. You know, we sometimes invite guests back for an update on what's happening at their company. And we had a chance to interview Mr. Martin Rowinski. He, of course, is the CEO and co-founder of a great company called Boardsi. And we interviewed Martin not too long ago, but we promised to bring him back on the show when he has new information, has some new things that are going on. What he's doing at Boardsi is really remarkable. I mean, when we talk about startups, we talk about small to mid-sized companies, even, enterprise companies, Fortune 100 companies. Something that always comes into the conversation, as Martin knows better than anybody, is your board. And you have to have a great board. You have to put together a board, a team, people that really care about you, care about your mission, care about your company. And Martin and his team have put together a great company where they help you with your board. The name of it is Boardsi. Martin, welcome to the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks for bringing me back on for round two.
Martin, it's great to have you back on the show. You know, you're doing so many great things, but in the unlikely event that somebody hasn't heard of Boardsi, let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet. Let's tell them what you're doing. And then we have so many new questions for you.
Absolutely. So we like to call ourselves the Corporate Matchmakers. And obviously following the title of the book that I released, which is The Corporate Matchmaker, that kind of name just stuck with us. And basically we are a matchmaker, except not in the love scene, but we are kind of creating love for companies. So what we have is we have a exclusive network of C-suite executives, and we have a lot of information about them, all their skills and everything. And that helps us when we onboard a company. And that's everything from, like you said, a startup to publicly traded company. They could be looking for a board member. They could be looking for a advisor to the board. In any sense, we go through our network and we find the matches, and then we present them to the company. They'll go through them. They'll highlight the ones they like, and then we set up interviews for those, and they take it from there.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Of course, Martin, when I brought you on the show the first time, you had some very good customers. Now I look at your website and I look at your clients. I mean, you've got some of the biggest names in the world right now doing business with you. So congratulations on that. I mean, it's really, really interesting. Let's talk about it. Which types of companies reach out? They say, hey, Martin, we've heard what you're doing. We're looking for some board members or some strategic advisors. What's that first conversation sound like when they reach out to you, Martin?
Basically exactly how you described it. And it's companies at all levels. We have definitely climbed up. And it's thanks to people like you, Andy. I can't say enough thank you, because it's doing the shows like this. It's me being able to write articles for Forbes, FastCompany, Entrepreneur, and being highlighted in spotlight like that really has put us on a map. So when we talked last time, which I think it's been about a year, we have definitely gotten the attention of the bigger companies, publicly traded, a lot of companies that are right on the edge of being 6 months out from going public and just need that extra push, extra help. They need the diversity on their board. So we're getting a little bit on that higher level. But me personally, I'm passionate for the startups and the mid-range companies that are just trying to really peak out or get started. But that's just the entrepreneur in me. So I get excited when I see a new company with a new product or service that really needs that help. And it really, what I'm proud of seeing is these companies recognize that they need that talent. They need, they're not trying to be self-sufficient or take on the world by themselves. But, dropping that ego and recognizing that they need help is step number one. And the help is awesome.
Yeah, I love it so much. And you've become very passionate about helping entrepreneurs. It's really great to see. When we think about what you're doing, Martin, we think about the connections or the matchmaking that you're putting together. Let's talk about it, because a lot of companies also are looking for funding right now. They're looking for money to help grow their company. And the first thing that, investors are asking these days is tell us about your team. And there's no more solo entrepreneurs. And I mean, every company now needs a team. They need people around them. They need advisors. They need top level board members to help them get from point A to point B. But for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, Martin, let's tell them why it's so important to surround yourself with talented people that give you maybe a little bit different viewpoint based on their background and experience than what you have as just a solo entrepreneur.
Absolutely. No, you're right on point. I mean, I'm sure you've seen Shark Tank, and for anybody that has watched Shark Tank, the question comes up all the time, who's, before they write a check or commit to it, of course, they're looking for a name like somebody on the Shark Tank team, but Shark Tank team wants to also know who's on your board, who's behind this product. So it looks like a great product, but you can't do it all. So who's behind you? So yes, it is very important. And it's important to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that have higher skill sets, that have been there, that have done it, and now they can duplicate it and simplify your process as an entrepreneur. There's no need to, for trial and error. Why not go with somebody, find somebody that can help you along the way, that has already done the trials and they know exactly how to execute and speed up the process. And, just like I used to always tell my kids, who you surround yourself with is who you're going to become like. So if you want to be successful, surround yourself around successful people, build that team, build that mastermind, and you're going to be on your way.
Yeah, it's great. And of course, your platform, Martin, has come a long way. I mean, it's really remarkable. So you're always adding top level executives to join what I'm calling your private network. Yep. And then you have an executive network, which is, again, private, and it's only available for your search matchups, right? Where executives can be matched to a board position. And the platform is very private and only available in a private way. Let's talk about the platform, because it's garnering so much attention. It's very easy to use. And really, people are seeing the benefits of not only going on your platform at Boardsi to look for talent, but also the talent is coming on the platform to offer their services. So let's talk about the platform a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It's a simple platform for a reason. We basically have a platform that shows exactly all the different opportunities, lists out all the skills, lists out information about the company. And executives basically see that. And if they feel like they're a good fit, they apply and they get our attention on our team and we review it. If it is, if according to our team, if it looks like a great match, then we move forward and present them to the company. And in addition to that, just so everybody knows, we're not 100% reliable on the platform. We're always hands-on, digging in and helping these companies actually find the talent. So if an executive hasn't, logged in or hasn't applied to a position, but we find them in our network and we're like, oh my gosh, this person's perfect for this opportunity, we'll reach out to the executive and say, hey, we got this opportunity. What do you think about it? And if they say yes, thumbs up, then we present them in front of that company. So we're always active. There is a human team behind us. It's not, 100% dependent on technology.
Yeah, you dig in, your team digs in. I mean, you use the technology, you use your data points, but you also have human interaction with the platform, which is fantastic. You get the best of all worlds. Now, let's talk about it a little bit, Martin, because people are watching the show. Maybe they're a little unsure. So I'm going to ask somewhat of a rhetorical question just so we can get the word out. I mean, when someone is acting as a member of a board, whether it's a small to mid-sized company, do they get paid? How does all that work? Because people are probably wondering how that works, and I'm talking to the master, so let's get into it.
Absolutely. Of course, the company would like to hire them for free and get all the perks and benefits, but it's not a nonprofit deal. We do work with some nonprofits, and a lot of times we'll tell the executives that might be a little, slim in the area of expertise being on a board, that it's a good idea to join a nonprofit and get some experience. But for the most part, if you join as an advisor, if you join as a board member, you will be offered equity, and most of them will offer a pay as well. So, but it's a combination of both. When it comes to equity, it is definitely vested. You're not going to get, whatever it may be, 3% right off the bat. You might get half over a year vested. And, as time goes on, you'll get vested more and more. It's pretty typical for that to happen.
Yeah, it's great. And of course, people that watch the show, they know that I sit on the board of a nonprofit. And, people think about sitting on a board. I mean, it's work. I mean, you've got to think about it and go to those board meetings, but it's great work because you get to be impactful. You get to almost share your story, your background, your experience in a mentorship type of a way and interact with other people that are like-minded in the fact that they want what's best for the company. Now, Martin, let's talk about funding, because sometimes companies are looking for the next stage of funding. They might be looking for some seed capital, angel money. Maybe they're in the venture capital stage. Maybe they're looking for a Series A, Series C, whatever they're looking for. How does Boardsi assist with perhaps funding or matchmaking in that regard?
So we have a few VC companies that we work with. And some angel companies, and we do refer them some work when the company comes to us. We do some vetting, though. Obviously, we don't want to refer everybody. We want to make sure it's a company that's in a position to get funding. Actually, we're working with one right now, and they've been struggling. And it's a software company. Great, they're going to have an awesome piece of a product, but they don't even have that software at a beta test level at all. So it's all hear and say. And that's the reason they've been struggling with getting the seed capital or any kind of funding. So, we basically told them, get that to a point where you can demo a product, and then we can introduce you to some of the VC companies that we've been working with. So, we do give some companies some basic advice in helping them to get to that level. And of course, at the same time, we ask, do you need help from a human point of view to get to that point? Because we got some great engineers that have been there and done that, and maybe they can speed up the process for you. So, bring on an advisor while you're at it.
I love it. Of course, you have this great background and experience, 25 years of C-level experience. You must have started when you were 5 years old, as a young person. Yeah. And this is a SaaS-based, executive recruitment firm. You've got a great opportunity to help so many companies, of course. But I want to talk about your day because you've got this highly acclaimed book. It's called The Corporate Matchmaker. You've been featured on Forbes and Entrepreneur and FastCompany and everything like that. And of course, .com magazine, Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. How do you find time in the day to write books and go on the daises and do all the speaking? You must start at 5 o'clock in the morning and go, 18 hours a day.
Do you have a camera in my house? I do start at 5 in the morning. I do. I get up usually between 4:30 and 5 a.m. to get started. And I start, definitely, I don't start working. I mean, yes, I'll browse through the emails on my phone, see if there's anything that needs my attention right away. But for the most part, I start in the gym. So I'm older than I look, I think. Definitely, I try to get my kids and my grandchild to keep me looking young and energetic. But I would say, my little secret is of energy and getting things done effectively and quickly and being efficient, I guess, is the fact that I do go in the gym. I feel like I'm a lot more energized, a lot more productive throughout the day. And that starts at 5 in the morning. So usually I'm at the gym by 5:30, get my day started, and then get back to work and get everything done as quickly as I can. And whatever extra time I do have, that's what it goes into the book writing, the article writing, and try to keep up with social media.
Yeah, it's very good. You're very prolific in all those regards. When we think about it and we think about what you've done at Boardsi, one thing that comes to mind, we spoke about this on our first interview, is your team. I mean, you have a co-founder, you have a great team behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How important is putting together your team at Boardsi to make sure that you're able to handle and give your clients the best possible world-class opportunity, platform, technology, and offering.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When we, as a co-founder, when we brought the other co-founders in together, it was definitely a strategic thing. We all have certain skills. I like to say I'm jack of all trades, but I don't like to do all the trades. So definitely, each partner has its strength, and we try to focus that energy into what we do. Along the way, of course, we have made friends and aligned ourselves with people that are like-minded and might have even more experience in certain areas. And we thrive together and work together. Like the first education program that we put together is not put together by us, but it was a collaboration of me and my friend Mark, and me motivating him to do a web-based education that's a little bit more affordable than what's out there. And he's done that. It took him quite a while, I think almost a year to put it together, but it is available on our website now. And you can get the web-based, and if you like his education and you want some hands-on one-on-one, he's available for that. So, and on top of that, we're putting out, hopefully in the next 30 days, some other education courses that are going to be available to our members at no cost. They're very basic board education courses that if somebody does, like I said, if somebody doesn't have deep experience with it, it will really kind of open up your eyes to what do you need to do to be an effective board member, not just what some people expect. Hey, put me on a board so I can just collect a check. It's being an effective board member and being a difference maker versus the old days where you just got the privilege to say I'm on a board and you didn't really do anything. That I think no longer exists.
Yeah, those days are over. Everybody's looking for value. When we think about it, Martin, and again, thank you for coming back on the show today. Yeah. I know your time is so
you're good.
Important, and I'm indulging myself a little bit more than usual because I have so many questions. The board, let's talk about it, because businesses do face tough decisions. And sometimes those decisions need to be directed by the board. So do you find that boards really are impactful in the toughest of tough decisions for companies, and how does all that work?
Effective boards and ones that are put together correctly, 100%. And I think we witnessed that obviously during COVID, and might be witnessing it right now with recession coming to play. But the companies that had a great board with experience with things like COVID obviously had it plan in place and executed quickly, and they were able to minimize the effect of COVID. And other companies that were not obviously suffered, and hopefully they got smart and built a board around that and be ready for next round. So I think it is very important to have top-notch leadership, an effective one in that can be there and step in and provide the leadership level, not management level, but leadership level to the managers of the company. And then as long as those guys are in place to execute, then you have a win-win situation.
Yeah, I like it. And when you're building a board, we take a look at it. Is it the right thing to do to look at the board in terms of various verticals? In other words, if I'm building a board, or I want to build a board, do I sort of start thinking, I need someone that's really great at maybe management. I need somebody that's great at client offerings. I need somebody that might be great at advertising and marketing. I maybe need somebody that's great at finances. I maybe need somebody that's great at this. In other words, when you build a board, is it smart to get people from all aspects of sort of life and expertise versus just one?
100%. I think it's important to bring in outside board members. And sometimes they don't even have to be in the same industry or have experience in the same industry, especially when it comes to marketing. You could bring somebody in from a totally different industry where they were just a successful marketing executive, into a different industry, but they might, just because they have experience in a different industry, they might bring in a totally different perspective of how to attack in that industry from a different point of view. Because a lot of times we get stuck in this tunnel vision and you just can't see outside. So bringing in an outside board member that can visualize from that high level, it can really be an eye opener and really can be very successful to any company.
Yeah, it's real interesting. From the other standpoint, from the executive standpoint, looking to participate on a board or on boards, is there a sweet spot for the number of boards that one person can possibly sort of sit on?
Yeah, I think you can definitely overwhelm yourself and become, what I would like to say, not effective. So if you spread yourself thin, just like with work or anything else, I don't think anybody's going to sit there and write 5 books at the same time. That can get probably pretty ineffective, and you'll probably never finish one of those 5 books. So I think focusing your energy is definitely important. And then the question is, are you a board member and are you still working full time, or you're fully retired and you have, an open slate of work or work time available? And then the question you got to ask yourself is, I'm retired. I do want to be on a board because I want to do something, which is great. I'm hoping to do that myself because I don't think I'll ever retire. But I'm going to keep in mind, we all work really hard, not to retire and die, but to retire and enjoy life. So make sure you don't join too many boards where then you're regretting your choices because you're limiting your time. Because to be really an effective board member, you're going to be putting in some hours. You know that. There's emails, there's things happening. There might be emergency board meetings. It's not just a quarterly. It's not like COVID waited for a quarterly board meeting to happen. It happened, and you had to react right then and there.
Yeah, you need to be there, of course. It's the commitment that you make. For the executives watching the show, Martin, is there a competency designation or a certification that someone can get? Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of courses out there. And highly recommended ones, NACD. There's ongoing education. You do have to have certification, especially if you're going to be joining a board at a public level. There's insurance for board members because they are liable legally. So, I mean, there is a lot of things that they should definitely look into before just thinking about joining a board. Of course, a lot easier to join a board as an advisor because you don't have the insurance things to worry about. Certification, it's more important about your skill sets and what you're bringing. But what you will be bringing in is definitely more hours, more work, and you better be a lot more effective and motivated to help the company, because obviously as an advisor, there is a great motivation because you're more part of the company growth, and it happens, at a smaller level companies. But when they grow, you're going to benefit in a big way.
What a great platform you've built. Everybody's talking about it. You're helping so many companies right now. For the people who are watching, I mean, reach out, see if you can connect, see if you can join the network of top executives on the platform today. Of course, companies looking for board members, there's no better place to go. I'm so happy, Martin, we've had a chance to bring you back on the show. But before you go, I want to give back to the younger entrepreneurs, because sometimes the younger entrepreneurs, even older ones, they hit a roadblock. They hit a pothole in the road. Maybe they skin their knee. Maybe they, can't get through a wall. Maybe you can give some advice based on what you've learned by building Boardsi and your, illustrious career about what it takes to get through a tough time and how to keep on pushing in business.
First of all, I'd like to say, don't ever quit. Don't ever quit on your dream. If you're a true entrepreneur, it is 100% normal to hit the roadblocks, to hit the speed bumps, to have your family tell you, get a real job. Go get a paycheck. You're wasting your time. It comes from every angle. And stay on the path and get help. That is the biggest thing I can say is surround yourself with people that have been there and done that, people that will elevate you and push you to be successful. Don't think you can do it on your own. I've seen it. You've seen it many times. And it can be very discouraging. Being alone on an island is not fun. And on top of that, the monkeys are throwing coconuts down at you and beating you up. And, you're the only one telling yourself you got to get up and keep going. So I'm not saying don't listen to people being negative, but put a filter on that and surround yourself with people that will push you, elevate you, and motivate you to be successful. I was fortunate enough to have my kids always push me. My wife almost pushed me off the cliff with a parachute, though. But yeah, no, she was a super motivator and, never gave up on my dream and never gave up on our dream, in essence, and did everything she could to support it. And if you don't have that within your inner circle, then find it, call us. We'll find you a network of executives that will do just that.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I do have one shameless plug, though. Can I plug something real quick?
You know what? As a global technology pioneer, as an executive recruitment expert, as an international speaker, and a best-selling author, yes, let's go. What do you have?
So I've been nominated at this website. It's called CEO Rankings, and I'm supposed to get a bunch of votes. So if you can get it, anybody that's watching this, it's really easy. All you have to do is text your vote in. The text is 1675, and the phone number you're texting it to is 1-272-233-4411.
There you go.
There's
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're a shoo-in with what you've built
Let's
over
go.
at Boardsi. I love it so much. It's great to have you back on the show. I mean, you're doing so much great work. I mean, you're revolutionizing really the way companies and executives connect through advanced technology. And of course, what you mentioned with your team, meaningful human connection as well. So it's been great, Martin, to have you on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series again. I look forward to having you back on the show as we continue this hockey stick growth curve, and congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Andy.